All good. Are you going to do a separate one, Josh? Or are you
Uh,
good? All right, no worries.
it's like one of those things, it's like, well, they said they spoke to this person, and this person said they spoke to that person. There's a triangular information here. So,
There we go. No worries, no worries. All right then. So let's just jump into it. We can get into Oh, is it coming back?
yes, I am. Sorry.
It's like I'm out of here. Bye.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, so let's get into section one. I mean, I'll start off with a question and then if you guys just want to get in answer your own question, but just to get it started, let's go with what's one concept from this course that changed how you think about design or the design process? I'll just say that for me, one of the biggest concepts for me was realizing how much clarity affects everything. So, starting with visuals, instead of starting with visuals and aesthetics and making things look pretty, we're looking for the need and the message that we're trying to put across, and rather than the whole visual aspect. So, for me, that was what I found important.
Yeah, that's really good. I think for me too, pretty similar to that as well. I think overall, it's mainly like the preventative methods that are put in place in the design profession that has given me like a new point of view, especially when it came down to like positioning and like the onlyness statements. Although it's like one or two sentences for a onlyness statement, it really like pushed me to really like think a little bit differently about like what really sets you apart to be like the only thing in an industry or the only brand that's doing something like a different. And it made me think about too, as a consumer as well, like what makes me go to specific brands for specific things, like what do they do that no one else does, or what caught my attention, or what stands out about them. So when it came down to creating my own brand and like my own opportunity for like this holiday season. Well, I chose Christmas, but for a holiday branded event, it was really hard to come up with it. Like going into it, like I think I started off pretty broad, and then I kind of had to like dial myself back and like pull myself down from the clouds because I had like all these like great ideas, but at the end of the day, nothing about it was original. So I was like, well, how can I make my event original? So I think that everything that tied into that kind of gave me a new point of view as a designer, but then also as a consumer.
Nice.
Casting. No, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. Like you started getting to specific. The one big thing that I've probably taken from this course more than any other course that we've had so far is specificity, or however you want to say the word, or however you say it. But family, right? Event family, like you were saying, like the event, when we had to really think about the words and the way we wanted to describe that event, it had to be very particular because if it wasn't, it misses the topic entirely. We're supposed to be specific to a point. If you think about it, like I throw a military term out there, when you talk about coordinates, right? You talk about 8, 6, and 10-digit grids. And what those do is they bring you in to within 10 to 100 meters of a specific point, and we're at a 6 digit, right? Like that's we're 100 meters out there, we need more specificity. So they're going to give us a 10-digit grid to put us up a tree. Like we'll know exactly which tree based off of the 10-digit grid that we need to get to. And that's based off of being specific with that information, doing things like studying the field that whoever you're trying to get your attention for, whoever the problem's for, however you're trying to solve the problem. It's getting that information together and being able to display it in a way that it not only grabs their attention, but it intrigues them enough to share it with other people. And if we miss the mark, then we're lost, right? Like it's simple as that. Like it completely misses. And just like you, like I felt a certain way about the way that mine had been described, and I was like, well, damn, I thought mine was pretty good, and it's pretty damn average. I'm average Joe over here, so that kind of hit a certain way, and I totally understand that. And it's getting over that pride. I think it's understanding that it's not your thought process; it's theirs, and it's getting over the wall. And I think this class really helps you kind of just step over the wall and be like, it's scary over there, right? So that's where I'm at with it.
That's awesome. And that's a great point of view too, to put it in like that perspective too, as like as far as like the coordinates go. But yeah, I completely agree.
Cool.
All right, I feel my leg up and kick my chair behind me. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I saw, but I was like, I think that he'll explain it whenever he's ready.
Sounds good. Cool. I think we hit on everything with one, unless anybody else had anything to add for section one.
Connor, you got anything to add, Connor?
Oh man. All right.
Yeah.
So cool. So section two, brand and concept. So let's talk about brands or a brand that we chose and the key concepts that we focused on with that brand and how that brand communicated through messaging and visuals. And I can start or
Oh yeah,
No,
you can
so
start.
I'll give
yeah,
you a break like you went last time.
yeah. Go yeah, what was that, Josh?
I said I'll go.
Oh yeah,
You
go
went
for it, go
last
for
time.
it.
If you
Yeah,
want to
go
go.
for it.
Um, I'm a big fan of NASCAR. And like I chose the Monster Energy brand with Ty Gibbs and stuff. And I felt like it delivered a lot of strong messages, and I do a lot of stuff in social media already. So it was something that I was very familiar with, like jumping into it, right? Using his brand, his social media messaging to just how they not only advertise the company, they show pride in fanship, they advertise for fans, they bring in attention and sponsors and money. Like it's a big circle. It's this ongoing circle of life. And like one of the things that I had learned just from putting that campaign together was it's effective. Right. And especially in today's big social media world, it's not just about like delivering word of mouth. We've got to be able to get them with eye-catching attention, which is what we do with the social media graphics.
And it's NASCAR as a brand, or you said an energy
I
drink?
chose specifically was a driver and his sponsor within NASCAR itself.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah. So like Ty Gibbs, if you go to Ty Gibbs has multiple cars that he runs. So if you've ever, like I'll use Dale Earnhardt was a big one that everybody loved. Everybody recognizes that one. Good Wrench, Budweiser, National Guard, the Mountain Dew, like they have different branding that goes along with it. And then with that branding is an entire message. Social media, all of it like goes out there to try and bring in not just the fans of the driver, but the fans of the brands themselves. And it's a coordinated effort to be very specific for both to have a lucrative deal to make money off of it, by bringing in that attention, but also by serving an audience base, by providing them with, hey, here's a special deal. This is a one in a lifetime. This is once, it's specific to this is not going to be something we do again. So the whole branding message is it comes and it goes and they do it over and over again. But that was one that I had chose with Monster Energy specifically because the colors on it were very, very strong with Monsters green, the hard blacks. So I got my kids screaming back in.
No worries. So it's like a collaboration between other existing entities. I was just looking
Yeah,
because I don't know.
there's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I don't know lots about NASCAR other than racing. I'm not the audience, clearly. But yeah, energy drinks for sure. Yeah, Monster Energy has been around for a long time as well. But yeah, I was thinking about like McDonald's when they come out with the collaborations with different artists and like they had the Cardi B meal and they had the Travis Scott meal at one point and it's interesting because obviously that's going to attract a completely different audience and have messaging towards that particular audience as well. So yeah, that's more up my alley. But in the collaboration avenue, yeah, I get that for sure.
yeah, that's something that, like I said, it goes from one to another. And it's just
Right.
this campaign to another campaign to another campaign. It's a lot like TV series having to, they got to do another episode, right? Or we got to either
Yeah.
keep where you're going with the driver or change the messaging. But like either way, like it's really cool to see which direction they go with a lot of it. I never thought about it before until recently. Like I got into motorsports and recently, and then I went to school for graphic design. Like graphic design, they tell you right off the bat is you see it in everything.
Yeah.
Design is in everything,
Mhm.
right? So you start looking at signs and billboards and everything. You start breaking down the composition. You're trying to wonder about the color schemes and the text and typography and why do they do this? In NASCAR, they have entire paint schemes, and then you have entire social media ads that go out, and then they go out and go to the brand itself and park a car out there with that paint scheme, and then give out samples. And like it's an entire endeavor and a campaign that expands more than just like here's a simple message. And that's why I chose that because it's real big, but it's really small because you don't think about it. It's just here's an image, race day. Like it's all it is. But it's more than just race day. It's for the fans, it's for Mountain Dew lovers, it's for people who love Toyota, it's for people who love that racing team, the drivers, fans, you name it. And you change the sponsor, and it's an entire different crowd the next week.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point because yeah, because if you're with collaborations, you're bringing in another audience that may not know something about who they have collaborated with. So you're spreading your you're expanding your likability or potential new
When they
fans.
started, it was they had like one car, like people drove one car, and that was they were a billboard for a brand. That's all they were. In today's day and age, there's 16, 17 different schemes that'll rotate throughout the year. So
Mm-hmm.
they're rotating campaigns and pushing different social media, pushing different messages and being very specific, but
Yeah.
they're still telling a story with that one driver. I mean, Denny Hamlin was he was partnered with Coca-Cola for almost 20 years before they parted ways. So it's really neat just to see how those campaigns work themselves out. Ty Gibbs was a young kid, got sponsored with Monster, and he's sitting here driving NASCAR now. So it's cool to see how the brands tell their stories.
Yeah, that's super cool.
That is, I would have never thought of that, to be honest. Like, I know next to nothing about NASCAR racing or anything like that to the extent of like go-kart racing at like Andretti or something like that. And I've never actually been to one, so like, but I did see like recently how they did like I don't know, there was something recently that happened there, maybe Formula One, I don't know. But how there's like this escalator and instead of people like buying tickets, they would like ride the escalator and then ride back down so they can have like a view of like the race car and everything. So I was like, oh wow, these fans really do go crazy over this stuff. And I would be watching there and I would have no idea what's going on other than like, oh, be careful, like something
Yeah.
like that. But I did watch a new F1 movie this year, so I did learn some things from that.
Is it good? I haven't seen it yet.
I think it was good, but I also don't know anything about it, so like I don't know if it's like
I'm not
accurate or
an
any of
F1
that.
guy, so
Oh,
I don't know either. Like, but I know Brad Pitt. I like Brad Pitt.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see how it is. And I'll use when we talk about numbers and stuff, and you think about we'll use a popular football. I'll use the LA Rams, for example. The LA Rams played the Seattle Seahawks last night in Seattle. There's probably at least 85,000 people in a single stadium cheering on two brands fighting each other, right?
Yeah.
Daytona 500 attracts over 100,000 people to one location, or I'm sorry, yeah, over 100,000 people to one location.
Yeah.
150, 160,000 people. Like if you've ever just go look at photos of the pregame events that they put on so that people can come and meet drivers and stuff. It's really neat how they've set up their package to be very fan inclusive.
Yeah.
Not like any other organization or sport I've ever seen. Usually you stand in a hallway with a dozen other people and you're just like, oh my God, you're waving. And this is like come and stand next to the driver, shake his hand while he's just looking over his car. Like it's a very different experience to see compared to other brandings when you look at the NHL,
Right.
the MLB, WNBA, NBA, any of them, PGA, like they all. I'm big into sports, so that's like my big lean. Sorry, that's just like my big thing, and I talk a lot. I'm very sorry about that.
No, I appreciate it. I'm honestly learning a lot. Like that's why I'm not like
Yeah, same.
much because I'm like, oh, these are some things I can kind of like look into. I don't know. It's like when people think about brands, I feel like overall it's like more of a surface level thing. Like some people may think of like potato chip or
Mhm.
maybe like a soda brand or like something like that, but everything's a brand, even when we're talking about sporting. So like for instance, like within like a football team, so the team itself is a brand, but then there are so many mini brands within it because each individual player are also their own brands. So like that's how like people like gravitate to like or they bandwagon from one team to the next because they're following the player itself and not necessarily the team that the player plays for. So all these things kind of work into one. And then when you think about like the collaboration part of it too, like one of the players partnering up with like a Nike or like a Puma or something like that, and that's a whole nother thing, where it's like exposing people who like maybe wear Pumas, but then they see the photograph of like the athlete inside the store is like, well, who's this athlete? And then, it just kind of just keeps working for itself. And or somebody who like, I don't know, loves this athlete but never wore Pumas before would now wear Pumas because the athlete is wearing these Pumas. And then some athletes on their own just make their own brand. So they create their own shoe entirely or their own, apparel entirely. And then they branch off into so many other things such as like home goods or something like that. And it just kind of keeps going. It's so interesting how it's like such a fluid thing. So I say that to say with you talking, don't apologize at all. I was learning a lot from you saying that because I was like, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Did you want to
Um,
do your brand?
Okay, yes. So for me, I did Coca-Cola, which sounds pretty basic, but like I did Coca-Cola because like one, my brand, that the event that I was building was Christmas themed. And then two, I just know that Coca-Cola throughout the years, I mean, I can think of like childhood memories of watching like commercials and like the Santa Claus and just the iconic like red tint of the Coca-Cola brand, in addition to like the iconic, curvy bottle that they have, like you look at the bottle and you're thinking it's a Coca-Cola. So although like Pepsi is one of its biggest competitors or the biggest competitor that it has, like for me, I don't drink soda anyway, but like I just have a softer spot for Coca-Cola just from like the stories that it told. It just always like for me felt like it was like an opportunity for like togetherness. Like it just always showed like happiness and diversity and like that sort of thing. I don't know about like the whole debate about which soda brand is better than the other one necessarily, but at least for me, when I think of Pepsi, I think of more like showing, like they have like celebrity partnerships and like maybe Super Bowl halftime show type things. And it's very like, I don't know, just in your face. But I felt like Coca-Cola was more like a soft hug, if I could explain it any better than that. So that's the brand that I chose, and specifically for like the typography part of it, where I use it as an example because one of its ads it built up like quite literally talked about its attributes within the advertisement because it built up a soda bottle with different words and some of the words were like emboldened and some of them were like in like a italicized font and it was just like so cute the way that it made it up. So it's like the advertisement itself spoke for the different attributes that Coca-Cola had. And I think that overall they just do a really good job of like being super aware of what's going on in the market or what are going on in times and they communicate that well with their audiences. So that's why I chose that one. And as far as like how it ties into me as a designer, like moving forward, I think that it kind of gives me a better idea, or not, I know it gives me a better idea on how to think of ideas like based off of longevity and not just like problem solving right now. So it's like if you're creating a brand or helping enhance a brand, you're thinking of usually like how can we like, make the most money within a certain amount of period, or how can we like kind of overcome this obstacle or this bad PR thing or whatever the case may be. But I think with Coca-Cola, they just do such a good job of just moving through time from touching one generation to the next. And so for me as a designer, and even as a marketer, I would love to have that same effect on my consumers to like, how can I create this relationship for a lifetime and then bring their children into it, bring their grandchildren into it? How can it be when there's a lineup of brands that they just faithfully, choose mine? And so I think the biggest part of it is just the relatability behind it because I mean, of course, you still have to spend money and you still want to make money, but how can we build a relationship that's long lasting? Um, that's one of the biggest pieces that I got from using the research with Coca-Cola. That was a ramble too, but
I liked it. I like the ramble.
thank
I thought it
you.
was great.
Okay, good one. Especially
It's
Christmas
fun.
time as well. I always think of the polar bears from Coca.
Yes, they do it so well. Like,
Oh, you
it's
guys say
just so
that we
cute.
added a brand new Christmas decoration at our home this year. It's actually a Papa polar bear and a baby polar bear, and it came with a red scarf. And we don't drink Coke, or we don't ever have it. But when holiday comes around, like there's a box that sits in the garage, right? Like it just nobody drinks it. So like I pulled the box out and it's sitting in the front yard because I'm like, oh, Coke. There's no Coke
Cute.
anywhere on it. But like in my head, I see white polar bear, red scarf, Coke. And then I go to the
Yeah,
gas station and I buy the bottles.
Right.
I have the bottles to go with a Christmas decoration just to complete the Coke theme. Like
yeah,
it's
there you go.
Right.
cool that you bring that up because it does. It brings up joy, right? Like we
It
all think
does.
about it. I mean, it's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, stand the test of time.
It does.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, to carry on the Christmas theme, I went with John Lewis. John Lewis is well known for their Christmas time ads. John Lewis is a British department store. They Yeah, just like a maybe like a Lord and Taylor or a Macy's, something along those lines, if you weren't aware of what John Lewis was before. But yeah, there people wait for these Christmas ads to come out every year. Um, and I've always found them interesting at the conceptual idea that they bring rather than promoting specific products. And services and things like this that John Lewis provides, they're um, presenting the feeling of Christmas and the togetherness and the message of human connection and things like this, which is yeah, it's not automatically what you think of in terms of purchasing things for Christmas and stuff like that, but it's there. So I've always found that quite interesting and in how I look at how I design as well is not solely concentrating on the thing, but the feeling that somebody might feel having used that thing. So yeah, solid affiliation and belonging, along with those commercials, which, is common, I suppose, for a need that a brand is trying to present. But yeah, I just love their branding and stuff, and I think it's very effective and has been effective over the last few years. So yeah, that was the one that I picked.
Nice.
Cool. So I guess we can move on to section three, our group name. Um, so human needs. So yeah, so let's, unless you guys had anything else to speak on regarding section two. If
No, I'm
okay,
okay.
cool, cool, cool.
No, I'm good. I was looking over John Lewis. I was watching this Christmas ad from I think this is 20, yeah, this year's. So I was just looking at some of his videos and stuff while you were talking and
Yeah.
pretty cool. The
Yeah.
monsters are pretty interesting. And some of the ads has got like different monsters and creatures. It's
Yeah.
very interesting to look at.
Yeah, the one this year was great. It kind of spoke to teenagers these days and stuff like that. Like, as parents, I'm not a parent myself, but my boyfriend has two teenage sons, but they're very much in their phones and their devices and stuff like that. It's quite difficult to connect with. So that video was interesting because you were seeing a father and son connect without the use of words, but just by the gift that the son was giving him. But yeah, if you get an opportunity to watch it, will definitely give you that Christmas feeling for sure. So yeah.
Yeah. I actually started Googling it too.
Yeah, no, they've got cute ones. I'm watching the monster under the bed and
Yeah, they're cute. The penguin one is really sweet too.
yeah, the ball stuck to his fur, like the
Yeah.
sock. I like it. Afraid of it at first. Now he's playing with it. Like it's really I like the homely nature of it, right. Like it brings you back to you got family, right? Like it's
Yeah.
anybody who's experienced family knows what even the smallest gesture can feel like when you're like down, right? Like it's
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like overall like commercials just like don't hit the same that they used to.
True.
I don't know if it's also like accessibility is probably a part of it because the only time I really see commercials are like if I'm like watching YouTube or I don't know, because like so many people like opt for like the, ad-free like Netflix or maybe I'll see them on Hulu or something, but like it just doesn't hit the same that it used to. And so I think that's why there's so much like nostalgia with some of these brands, especially when you're thinking about like wholesome Christmas, family, like that sort of thing. Because like you said, even with your boyfriend's kids, like you just get so lost up into things. Like as adults, we have, work to do and like bills to pay and like other priorities to do. And so you're just like constantly checking things off. And you're almost never just like in the moment and just like sitting still and just like, oh wow, I was looking forward to this day at one point, but like this whole day I'm worried about like X, Y, and Z. I kind of think of it too, like when you're like planning an event, like there's so much that goes into the event. And then everybody else that is invited to the event is enjoying it, but the person that's like hosting it is just like all over the place.
Right.
And it's like, the two different perceptions with it. Like the guests are like having an amazing time where they said, oh, this was great. And
Yeah.
then the person who's hosting it is just like, oh, I was like stressed out. I can't wait to go to sleep or like that sort of thing. And it's like, it defeated the whole purpose of it,
Mhm.
whether it be like a wedding or a birthday party or something like that. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes with the holiday season, it kind of becomes that now too. Like
Yeah.
it used to be like almost like a a heartfelt thing to like buy gifts for people. Like we're like, oh, I saw this and I thought of them. I can't wait for them to see it. But now it almost feels like it's just something else to do, you know? Like you're just like, oh, let me just buy this like I don't know. Like one of those like stocking stuffer type things just to say that you gave it to them, but there's no real like heart posture behind it. So like I don't know. It's just so weird. When I think of like I feel like even like this year, I keep saying it, it feels like the least like Christmassy Christmas. But like I think it's just because like there's just so much going on
Yeah.
that like I haven't even had a second to like really like take in like wow, it's like December, you
Mhm.
know, or wow, like make a nice hot cocoa and watch a nice movie or like whatever. It's just like I'm just trying to get by. So I don't know. I think that out of all of it, like even reflecting on these brands like such as like Coca-Cola and stuff like that, it did help me like personally as well as professionally as like, okay, well, let me carve out some more time so that I can have like some like still moments and really like, you know, enjoy the things that I worked really hard for to have or, you know, family that I don't get to see that often and not just really rush through it, but really like take time with it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Sorry, that was my dog barking.
It's okay. My
Yeah,
cat
my
meowed
favorite
too.
thing.
She's feeling bratty over there and like I can't have an hour to myself. She's like, why do you
Yeah.
have
And when you're
other
like,
things to do?
yeah, yeah, like when you're talking, you're like, oh, you're talking to me, right? Like, no,
Yeah.
no, there's nobody in the room except for me. Cute. All right then. So yeah, so let's do section three about our group name and how we're going to connect it to our human need. So what themes or emotions does our group name, The Rush, do you feel suggests? Would you feel like it suggests right away, right off the bat?
Anything fast paced or innovative, I would think. So when I think of Rush, I think of like maybe like an innovative like clothing brand, maybe like geared towards like older teens or like someone in like their 20s. It could go for like a club.
Yeah.
I could kind of see it as a club. Or like some sort of like sports related thing or something that has to do with like high cardio. So maybe like a treadmill machine, like the
Yeah.
Rush,
Yeah.
you know, so something like that.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's effective. Yeah, definitely. I'm probably in the similar thought process of that. You know, something that would communicate momentum and urgency, kind of a forward movement towards something. Almost in the same vein as maybe like achievement, kind of how Nike is just do it. You know,
Yeah.
ours could be let's rush to the finish line. That's kind of how I've been looking at it.
Yeah, definitely very forward leaning, very, very progressive, very something that says action, something that says a, like a lot and little, right? Um, all the brands that I look at that has rushed, they're all slanted forward. All the ones that don't have like a slant or something in them, they don't look, appropriate. We talked about like with motorsports and the sports and different organizations that have them in rush. It sounds like something bold, right? Like it sounds high energy. And I'm thinking monster with the green and the black, but rush, when I say rush, I'm thinking red. For some reason, like red, comes in my head when I think rush, but maybe green and black. But yeah, I don't that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's interesting too, like when I like looked into like advertising with words Rush in there, they're mostly in like the red font. I mean the red color and like a slanted font, like you said. Um, and before that, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit odd with that. I would have thought of like maybe like a blue, because I would have thought of like speed and like wind or something like whipping past. So I would have thought maybe more of a blue thing, but the red definitely makes sense too because it's kind of like it just pops and it's like in your face. And I kind of think of like Sonic, even like um that sort of like font with the Sonic brand and that's like the yellows and the reds kind of mixed in there too.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Sonic, like the fast food.
no, sorry,
The hedgehog.
the hedgehog.
Okay, I was like, wait,
Yeah.
one of those.
When I see like the blue, when I think of the blue with it, I think the confidence. I think of I think of a lot of confidence, right? And I think with Rush, for some reason, Rush just doesn't sound like confidence. Because we
Mm,
do anything, usually a mistake can happen. Usually it's not 100%. Rushing or Rush itself always has chaos attached to it. So having Blue being confidence, I guess that's why I keep seeing red. I just keep seeing chaos. Like I'm just like, what?
yeah.
Describe it. It's stress. It's always
Right.
What?
Definitely chaotic for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. That could be it. Maybe just the current environment has got me thinking red.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
So what need do we feel? Sorry, that was a sneeze. What need do we feel like it points to or could point to?
I was thinking of stimulation, because I know that was like more of like with your senses and like vigorous activity, like that sort of thing. And it can kind of land in different areas, such as like if it was like health related or if it was like sports related. That's kind of what the first thing that came to my mind out of the 15 was like simulation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would feel that I think it suit I was looking at the different descriptions. I feel like it would fit close to maybe power and achievement perhaps. Something along those lines. Yeah, I was trying to get it to connect with affiliation, but I couldn't see how I would fit that. But yeah, that's what I would pick. What do you think, Josh?
Which part are we on?
Oh, out of the needs, the 15 needs, what do you think it would point to the rush as a, um, for example, like recognition or self-actualization, safety, affiliation, stimulation?
I want to say stimulation. Like I said, it's just I hear rush and I just think of the overstimulation, the amount of time. It's just a lot being packed in. Like no matter what way I think of rush, like it's either a race to the finish, like you said, it's getting through a project, it's trying to assemble something quickly because you're running out of time. Like it's overstimulation. Yeah, it's just the only relation that affiliation that I'm seeing with it is overstimulation, stimulation itself.
Yeah,
Cool.
that was my first thought too. But to your affiliation one, I guess you could affiliate it with like if it was like a run club or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, like sport and
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I guess you would just kind of give a little bit more context as to what the brand is, but
Right.
it could definitely be affiliation depending on whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, no,
So,
it's
but go on. What was that, Josh? Sorry, I didn't want
no.
to.
I said that was a good. No, I said the affiliation's a good one.
Yeah. So if we were to add an adjective to the name, does that sharpen the need that we've picked, maybe? Like for stimulation, I wonder what would, trying to think, the powerful rush. I don't
Rush, powerful rush,
Yeah, yeah,
the overload rush. I don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just curious to see if just a singular two-word thing does it really get that message across or not?
Speed rush.
Yeah. Maybe
Speed.
just by visuals that
Right.
create visuals for
I
it.
think visuals would definitely take it over the top. If we added like one word, depending on because like rush could go for so many different things. Like even if you do like rush hour, for instance, like
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
thinking like, happy hour or
yeah.
rush hour traffic or something like that.
That.
Um, so I don't know. Like, so when I think of rush hour, I instantly think of traffic. Like I
Yeah.
think of like being stuck, or not being able to like, I don't know, it's gonna be an extra like 30 minutes or whatever
Mhm.
the case may be. I'm thinking of like getting ahead of rush hour traffic.
Sure.
Um, or I think about the movie Rush Hour. So it's like it kind of goes either way. But I think if we were to pick a word, it should be something that would like one stand out so that it doesn't get mixed up. Because if like you just say rush hour and you're paying like I don't know whatever those words are. I mean not words, the games where you're trying to guess what the partner's saying or something like that. So if you say rush hour, you want to make sure you're on the same page because this person could be thinking traffic, this person could be thinking a movie. But like whatever word we would add, I would think it would be something that would they'd be like, ah, it's this brand, or ah, it's this thing. So maybe something that's like a little bit in between, like right in the middle of like broad and specific.
Yeah.
Could it be Meteor Rush? Could it be Meteor Rush?
Oh
Media.
yeah,
Yeah,
it could.
sure.
Like I,
Yeah.
that one sounds like, back in the day, like newspapers, they've got the hit story. It's a meteor rush to get it out or something like that. Like
Right.
it's yelling about pictures of Spider-Man or something, but kind of what I'm picturing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you could call the whole meeting the rush hour. Although we might hit 45 minutes. I don't know. It might not be a whole hour. But yeah, I was recalling that the only thing that I could think of with there was like a pop band called Big Time Rush.
Yes.
I
My
wonder
brother
what
was obsessed with him.
was it. I
Yeah.
was like, why did they call themselves that? But I
I don't
don't
know. It had nothing to do with the band, I felt
know,
like.
right? And I don't even think they had a song that I don't know that was that or
All I
anything.
remember is like, if you live it big time or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know.
There's another band called Rush that had a small following too. Like
Yeah.
I think they were 70s. I think they were 70s or 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, they were like
Yeah. When I Googled it, they came up too, and I was like, oh, I never heard of them.
I don't think I could tell you any song by either band.
I was muted. Cool, cool. So, is there anything else that we want to add? Do we want to, anybody have anything to they want to
I
explore?
guess on a personal level, like what part of the material or whatever are you guys most like excited about like applying in your like life?
Hmm. I think the just I think the conceptual messaging I've found that pretty interesting of not using other ways to get your message across rather than just leaning on the visual aspects and the colors and all this and justifying the reason behind the choices that you make visually. Definitely with our brand boards that we're creating. I've never had to think so deeply about why I'm choosing a particular font and color and shape. It's normally just I think this goes. I think this looks cute. This is similar to something else that I've seen out there, but I'm really having to like dig deep as to what is the justification behind what I'm choosing here. So I think that way of thinking is probably going to help me a lot as a designer moving forward.
Nice. I definitely agree with you on that too. I think there's so much to do before even designing something, and that just shook me to my core. Because like you said, like I was just like, I don't know, you get an assignment and it's like, oh, let me just do it. But there's no real like thought behind it outside of like, oh, I think this looks nice. And it's almost like humbling in a sense. Like what I'm most excited to do is like walk in like humility as a designer. Because one, I don't know everything, which I never really thought I did, but going into these assignments, I definitely thought I knew more than I did know. So I'm like, oh wow, so there's always something new to learn. But just kind of just being open to like feedback from other people and like also I just feel like there's a plethora of like examples out here to kind of help me pivot. So with the research, it really helped me learn from other people's like successes and other people's mistakes or like other brands' successes, other brands' mistakes, and kind of help use that to tie into like the creative brief and only in a statement planning process. So that was a lot that I just said, but essentially like I would love to like look at examples and feedback and apply that when moving forward because there's just always new areas to grow.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I think you're both on point. I think you guys are both. There's a lot of information and it's a little intimidating. There's like a lot to take in. It's very intimidating to kind of open our minds up to like the specific things that we have to be looking for, the research that we have to do, the amount of time that goes into it is a lot more than what we initially thought. It goes down to not just like how much time you're putting into it, but how you're organizing the information that you're finding and how you intend to use it. If you just intend to gather the information and say, "Hey, I have it," it's like, okay, well, how are you going to use it?
Mhm.
Uh, that's the next step, and for me, this class has really shown me a little bit more direction that I didn't have before. I've been making graphics and stuff. I've been working social media. I've been doing, the whole thing with graphic design. I would like to get to the point where, like we talked about with the NASCAR, they do the media campaigns for each branding. It's like I would like to eventually get to the point someday to maybe where I might be doing a local branding campaign or something in the area to help somebody develop there. And there's a local football team that just started here, amateur, and I've tried to reach out to them and say, hey, like I'm not asking for money. Like I'll do, some stuff to help out. I sent them like 100 pictures, but like this is the kind of stuff I do. I do, high school commitment stuff for kids in football. Like I can offer that to the youth leagues and do stuff like that and just do like a partnership. But everybody's got their own journey. And I think this class is definitely like a big step in helping you kind of not shut doors. Because before I think you'd shut a door and be like, that's not interesting. You'd shut this door and say, that's not interesting. And now it's like, well, you can't shut those doors because you may have to reopen them. Like may have to go back through them and find something over there that you can use over here. And it's like the hardest part about the human psyche is just being open to gathering that information and piling it up and where you can use it.
100%. I concur.
Salad, it tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
French
Yeah.
dressing on it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think the I don't the critique stuff is the stuff looking at others' work, whether it be classmates and what's out there as well, is it trying to get your brain out of like, oh, that looks nice or that looks pretty. Like, what is the thought? What was the thought process to get to there? What was the research process and how they got to? Because there's definitely been designs out there that I've seen that have been questionable, but now looking at it with the new lens of, well, how did they actually get there with research in mind? Um, yeah, it gets you thinking a little bit more deeply as to maybe there isn't such a bad design. Maybe there's something that they're trying to communicate here that I didn't pick up initially that maybe I would now.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, cool. Anybody want to add anything else?
No, other than thank you guys for your insights and stuff like that too. I think this is really good.
Too. You too, you
And
too.
I feel like a good way to end I guess, our version of a semester type
Yeah.
of thing too. Like this was a nice class and a nice like discussion to kind of end it and definitely looking forward to break.
Yeah, yeah. It's a nice little touch before Christmas. Crazy.
Yeah.
Really
Have
does.
yourself a polar bear Coke.
100%. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna stop the recording because I think we're good here.